Well, good morning, everyone. I hope this day finds everybody well, but let's get the first things first. What is the temperature outside right now? It's cold. It's real cold. It is so cold. Okay, well, you come up with the rest of that goes with that. It's cold, though. It really is. It's chilly. Okay. Right now, in the city of Montgomery, it is 16 degrees, as a matter of fact. Yeah, that's chilly. Chilly willy. 16 degrees outside, high today of what, 45? And it feels like 60, okay? It's cold. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold. It's too cold to get out of bed this morning, as a matter of fact. But anyway, let's go on with the forecast this morning. It is 16 degrees outside. It's high today of 45. It's sunny, although that's sunny without no heat. But anyway, it's okay. Woo! It's gonna be warmer. Not much. It's supposed to be a little warmer today than it was yesterday. Okay, but it's still cold. Today, sunny. Cold, highs around 45 degrees, winds at west northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. On tonight, a 2% chance of precipitation, cloudy, cold, low 28 degrees, heat wave is coming. And tomorrow, 2% chance of precipitation, chance of clouds in the morning and giving way to mainly sun and sunny skies for the afternoon. High tomorrow around 53 degrees. It is a heat wave. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm so glad I'm not in Indiana, though, even though we are the national champions of football. Uh, that's about all I want to see out of Indiana right now. Yeah, we I can't be living up there no more. It's just too cold. And again, if you're just now waking up, 16 degrees outside right now, and it feels like 16 degrees. There's a high today of supposedly 45 degrees, and that's your weather right here in Montgomery, Alabama. It's cold. I mean, it's real cold. I ain't got a hat on inside. It's cold because it's cold out here. But I got to do my job. I got to get up. I'm still a soldier. I got to get up, go to work. Okay, no matter how cold the weather is, at least I don't have to sleep out there and that stuff anyway. Anyway, good morning to you. Hope this day finds everybody well, everybody doing okay. It's time to rise and shine again. As you rise this morning, I know everybody wants to know it is 16 degrees. 16. Now, I didn't say 60. I said 16 degrees outside, and it feels like 16 degrees outside this morning. But the one good thing, the winds not non-existent at the moment, and the skies are clear. So your car should warm up pretty good inside. It'd be cold on the outside, but it'll warm up anyway. Okay. So what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do? We're going to do nothing. We're going to stay in the house, stay warm. Don't put the kids out. If you get anybody you want to put out your house, don't do it today. Okay. Make sure you check on your old folks. Make sure that they got some heat in the house and things of that nature. Other than that, there's not a whole lot you can do about cold weather. It is what it is. No matter what we try to do, we can't change the weather. Although back in the Cold War, we swore up and down that the Russians were changing the weather. We did. We swore up and down that the Russians were changing the weather. Okay, let me cogitate on that.
We changed the world in history right here where we're from. It's new beginning to you and me, cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city, we're not done. I appreciate that.
And again, good morning, everybody. Hope it finds everybody doing well. It is time for our daily bread. A word from on high, something that will change your perspective, give you a new one. But either way, it's good for the soul. Good morning to you. And it's 16 degrees outside this morning. If you happen to need to go out, if you don't need to go outside, don't go outside. Okay. Start your car from the inside. You got one of those things that start your car right from the inside. If you don't, get one. Okay. Yeah, get one. Our daily bread, a message of belief, strength, and resilience. We'll be back.
Thank you for every breath I take, for the love that heals, and the joy you make in the tapestry of life. I see your grace, every moment filled with your warm embrace.
Welcome to today's encouragement from Our Daily Bread. Today's reading, titled The Jesus Chair, was written by Dave Brannon. When my friend Marge met Tammy at a Bible study meeting, she noticed that they seemed to have little in common. But Marge befriended her, and she learned a valuable lesson from her new friend. Tammy had never been to a Bible study, and she was having a hard time understanding something the other women in the study talked about, that God communicated with them, something she'd never experienced. She so desired to hear from God that she took action. Later, she told Marge, "I set aside an old wooden chair, and every time I study my Bible, I ask Jesus to come sit in it." Then Tammy explained that whenever a verse stood out to her, she would write out the verse in chalk on the chair. It's become her special Jesus chair, and she's filled it up with God's messages to her directly from the Bible. Marge says the Jesus chair has changed Tammy's life. She's growing spiritually because Scripture is becoming personal. In John 8, while speaking to Jewish believers, Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Let's hold to his teaching, whether it means writing his words on a chair, memorizing them, or seeking to put them into action. The truth and wisdom of Christ's messages help us grow in him and set us free. Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from John chapter 8, verses 27 through 32. They did not understand that he was telling them about his Father. So Jesus said, "When you have lifted up the Son of Man, then you will know that I am he, and that I do nothing on my own, but speak just what the Father has taught me. The one who sent me is with me. He has not left me alone, for I always do what pleases him." Even as he spoke, many believed in him. To the Jews who had believed in him, Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Let's pray. Father, thank you for the scriptures and how you use them to teach and shape us into the people you've called us to be. As we are formed more and more in the image of Christ, help us to help others in their walk with you, that we may grow together and make you known to the world. Thank you, Lord. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay, turn up. I just got this. I got this good. Horrific. You took me off my game. Okay. You know, I just saw something a couple seconds ago that absolutely, it's online. And I don't know what to think about this stuff. I'm gonna share this with you guys. I'm gonna share. I I don't know if this is sacrilegious or not. You know, this. I mean, AI is a wonderful thing, and it's a great piece of it's a great piece of technology that. But sometimes, though, I think we truly are going way out of our depth. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. 'Cause see, I looked at this thing and said, "Whoa, what's up with that?" Okay, now I want you to check this out. Check this out. I want you to check it out because it almost scared me for a second there. Now see right there, they got Michael Jackson. And check this out.
Can't say your music guides us every day through the laughter and the tears we know. We're grateful for the gift of you. The legends live in every song. In our hearts still belong. We miss you so. Late at night when I need a friend, I press play and you're here again, teaching me about love and pain, dancing through the joy and rain. You showed us how to feel alive. Your spirit helps us still survive. We miss you more than words can say. Your music guides us every day through the laughter and the tears we know. We're grateful for the gift of you. Legends live in every.
Anyway, I just found that to be. I found that to be quite disturbing, actually. You know, I found that to be. Wow, that's I don't know if that's good or not. I mean, but okay, it's not me. I just, you know, Elvis ain't look like he changed at all. But anyway, so much for that. I just thought I would share that with you for a second because it kind of messed me up there a little bit. I said, "Whoa, what's up with that?" I remember Miss Winehouse. Yeah, she died of a drug overdose or something like that. Anyway, okay, Frank Sinatra. Francis. Okay, never mind. I just thought that was kind of weird. You guys don't think that's weird? I mean, to be able to do that, to be able to man, that messes with my mind. You know, that right there, that's kind of scary. They can bring people back to life on WI or whatever it is, AI, whatever it is. You know, I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering. That's a little bit too much for me this morning. Anyway, good morning to you again. And Michael Jackson, of course, was on there. All the old school folks were on there. Uh, anyway, I thought it was an interesting thing. Okay, let me go back to my screen and share my screen again, so I don't get all mixed up like I normally do. There we go, right there, right there, right there, right there. Okay. So anyway, good morning to you. Hope today finds everybody doing well. Whew. What is the lesson of life today? Well, the lesson of life today is simple. Sometimes painful things can teach us lessons that we never knew, never even thought about it, that we needed to learn. Again, sometimes painful things can teach us lessons that we did not think we ever needed to learn. I think we can all kind of like understand that one. And the word of the day is tenet, Tenet, tenet. It is a principle or a foundation belief on doctrine that is held to be true by members of an organization, movement, or a profession. Okay, okay, like being a doctor, do no harm. Okay, that's a tenet of being in a doctor, do no harm, even though some of them, you know, can't help it. Anyway, now the other day, oh, I got a guest coming on. I got a guest coming on at 12 o'clock. No, I mean, not 12 o'clock. At at 8 o'clock. A young man named Font. Anyway, he is coming on. He was working for the city, and the city vacated his work and I think he feels as though he got a little screw glued and tattooed, and he was a victim of reverse discrimination. And so we gonna see about that. We'll see after you talk to him. But I'll so what is his name? His name is oh, what is his name? What is his name? Anyway, I got him up here somewhere. He worked for the city. He had a meeting a couple weeks ago, so he won't be able to answer all of the questions. He won't be able to answer all the questions, but he'll be able to answer some of the questions. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
I saw where you spoke of tenant just then.
Yes.
Run that past me again.
Let me see. Tenet. It means, according to them, it is a principle or belief or doctrine that is held to be true by members of an organization, movement, or profession.
Well, most people believe, in certain things, and it's down through history. Organizations and people through this country have, believed in certain things that you should adhere to, but I guess we change in society and certain things change, the tenant. But I think, Mayor, you're suffering from dementia.
Okay, all right. Tell me.
After yesterday's show,
Yeah.
when you said you had no problem with people coming to the country illegally.
Well, I don't. Okay, per se, I have no problem coming. I know it's illegal, and if you get caught, I don't have a problem of people sending you back. But I do have a problem with the way we are running into people's businesses and running into people. I'm telling you, right, that's not the America that I serve. I mean, if you're going down the highway. If you're going down the highway and the guy is speeding and you pull him over and you find out he's illegal, hey, give him the boot. But if you're just going to work every day like you and I are going, because the problem is, what is the problem with people coming here? We got more land than we'll ever use. So what is the? I got a problem with it. Like I got a problem with the way we're doing it. Not that we're doing it, but the way we're doing it. Yes.
Well, let me give you a problem. Let me give you a reason why 9/11, 19 terrorists came to this country and killed hundreds of Americans on 9/11. The Boston Marathon, 2 Russians put pressure cooker bombs and killed people. The World Trade Center bombing carried out by people from other countries. Senator Kennedy, who was shot by Sirhan from another country. That is why you vet people properly. That is why you track people in your country so they won't hurt your citizens. And you have to do that. There's a reason. I mean, it's just not willy-nilly. We're just not doing it because we want to pick out certain people. You do it to protect your citizens.
In theory, I agree. But let me ask you a question. Why don't we seem to be grabbing up the Russians and putting them on a boat out of here?
Well, they do when they catch them.
Okay.
I mean, I was involved in a case where the Russians kidnapped a woman. She was kidnapped, a woman off the streets in New York, and they had her involved in a human sex trafficking ring. And we located her and the 2 individuals here in Montgomery, and they were charged, and then they were sent back to Russia. One of them was here on some kind of work visa, and the other one was here illegally. But that's one case I know of. But I mean, the ones that get sent back they're not high profile cases and make the news and get everybody all worked up and generated like these cases are. But I mean, there's so many reasons why other countries vet people that come into their countries. You have to have papers, and I mean, just like all those people that came for Ellis Island, you know, they didn't want people coming into the country with TB and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's reasons not to just let people just pour into your country. And then once they're here, just say, well, you're here now. And
No, I
I mean,
understand the process. I understand the process, and I understand why we do it. But the question really is, we got more land in this country than we can fit people on. Okay, we got more land. Now I understand what you're saying, but whether they are domestically are built or people coming from overseas, we'll never get everybody that wants to do us harm. So I'm just, we got plenty of land. I mean, I guess I'm just wondering if you get more people, you get more tax dollars, you get more people working, you get more people buying houses, you're building more homes. I don't know. I just don't
you,
see the way
you get more people. I mean, you get more people here, Mayor. You get them on the census. You get them used to, you know, you didn't count people that weren't here legally. You didn't count people that weren't U.S. citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And then they changed that. Now you count people, and now that affects everything, how much money a state, county, or city gets. And I mean, just what's going on in Minnesota with all of the fraud and theft that's going on there. I mean, you've got to control who comes into your country. And your principle is that, well, we've got all this land, but if you go to California, you got people living under the interstates, on the streets, because there's not enough affordable housing for the people that live here. So now you're going to bring in more people, and there's not enough affordable housing. So somebody's going to have to pay for that.
Well, that is true, but you know, before all this talk about immigration came about, we still had people that didn't have affordable housing. We're not building affordable housing in America because we want to make more money. We could build affordable housing, but we don't.
Well, sure, you can make it look like a third world country, and that's, I mean, the question is how many of these illegal immigrants
Mm-hmm.
do you want to let live on your land? Do you want 1, 2, 3, 4 live on your land? They go to work every day, but they come home and they live on your land.
Well,
but you didn't ask them to. You didn't say, but they need a space.
And again, I feel you on that. My heart just doesn't set well with people, police coming up to you. I understand why they're doing it. Don't get me wrong, putting you in a strip tie, you know, putting you on a buck like your cattle. I just that doesn't sit well with me the way they're doing it. I just, you know, that they're doing it. I understand that, but the way they're doing it, I will never believe that that's the right way to do it. So,
well, why don't we just do away with all the criminal trespass laws? Whether it's your house or at my house, and people can just walk up, put their tent in our yard, hook up to our utilities, and go to work every day. Because
long as they
we got plenty of land.
Wait, as long as they're willing to pay for something in the utilities, that's fine.
But wait a minute now. You need to supply them, because see, that's what they're saying to the government. You need to supply us this, and this. Because we're here now, we're squatters. We have squatters' rights.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And again, I'm going back to where the Bible says, "Be kind to a foreigner." You know, we never know where we may find ourselves, and I realize that no other country allows people inside their country the way we do. I'm with you. But we have a special country, and
well, I'm sure those people that were blown into smithereens in the World Trade Center by those 19 would not view that the same way you do. You have a good day.
Okay, I hear you. Again, I'm not against us sending illegal people home. I'm against the way we're doing it. Showing up at your job, you just working, trying to treat your family, then they put a strip tie on your hand, treating you like a crook. I mean, and I realize they broke the law getting in here, but I got to tell you, you know, I've been to a few countries, and Lord have mercy, I would get out of there any way I could. And that's what some of these people are doing. They're just trying to get their. Now, here's my problem with people. If you want to come here, you have to want a piece of the American dream. No, what really ticks me off is you come here, the next thing we know, you're flying all these foreign flags in your yards and in your bit. And listen, if it was all that great back there, then why didn't you stay? Yeah, so that's my problem. But y'all have to come up with a better with a better argument than that with me. But again, it's the legal thing to do that we're doing illegal. There's got to be a better way. There just got to be a better way than the way we are doing it. But that's just me. That's just one man's opinion. One man's opinion. That's all that is. Okay. Now, let me show. Now, I'm going to show you guys something here that you shouldn't do when the police tell you to stop. Okay. You shouldn't do this when the police tell you to stop. Okay. And then you wonder why some people get shot. I don't know why brothers think that if the police tell you to stop, they tell you to stop, and you think you can beat a gun with your chest. Okay. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Okay, but here we go. Here we go. Here's one right here. I mean, my Lord, the police say stop, and you don't stop. This guy has got to be on drugs. Got to be on drugs. I mean, nobody's that silly. I mean, you got to live to fight another day. You can't solve any issues on the ground. Okay, you cannot solve any issues on the ground right there at the courthouse. That ain't gonna happen. Okay, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. So let me see if I can get this and show you guys this. Let me see now. Okay, can I not find him? Can I not find where he was? Oh, here we go, right here. Okay, here we go, right here.
How you doing, Ruffin?
No, that's not it right there. I'm gonna show you guys this. Okay, 'cause this is crazy. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. What this guy did. Now, let me see here now. Because this is, and you wonder why the police shoot at people sometimes. Okay, you wonder why the police shoot at people sometimes, and this is one of the reasons why they do. Okay, I'm just. Okay, let me see. Oh, here we go, right here. Here we go. Okay, there he goes, right there. Here we go.
Are you fine this morning? Can you just have a seat for me? Can you just have a seat for me? Step back.
Now the guy. Okay. Now the police is telling him to have a seat. He says, "Step back." The guy keeps coming like he's Superman or something like that.
You're gonna get tased, bro. Step back. You're gonna get tased. Step back. Step back. Where's your step?
I mean, trying not to shoot the guy.
Shot fired. Shot fired.
Trying not to shoot the guy.
450 headquarters. Shot fired.
Yeah. Now the way the media is going to put it, well, the guy wasn't doing nothing but chasing him around. You're right. Okay, I'm just saying. I mean, see that again.
450 headquarters. Shots fired for me.
Okay. Now he's telling the guy a number of times.
Are you fine this morning? Can you just have a seat for me?
Just have a seat.
Can you just have a seat for me? Step back.
Now look at this guy. He keeps.
You're gonna get tased, bro.
He keeps coming.
Step back.
He keeps coming.
You're gonna get tased. Step back. Step back. Where's your step?
And the police are running from him.
Shot fired. Shot fired.
Anyway.
450 headquarters. Shot fired.
Okay. So I suggest, this is only me. I suggest when the police tell you to, stay still or whatever the case may be, you just stay still. You don't keep running after the police. That was crazy. That guy's got to be on drugs or something. I mean, the guy's got a taser and a gun. And then remember last week, I told you about a woman, the mad black woman syndrome thing. Okay, well, I got that one today too for you. Yeah, they kept trying to tell her, shut up, sign the ticket. Now I think that's a dumb law to expect you to understand a law when you're not from that community. I think that's I think that's a dumb thing. I think that really is. I think you cannot expect people to understand um, laws in your city when you don't live there. I think that's crazy. And this junk about ignorance of the law. Well, funny. If you go to enough court sessions, you'll find that people who in the court system don't know the law. And if they didn't have a computer right then and there, then they wouldn't be able to understand the law then either. Okay. Anyway, coming up at 8 o'clock, Rob Fortner is my guest. He's into it with the city. Again, I think he feels he was somewhat discriminated against, and so we're gonna have him on. Let him give his story. And again, I'm not. Listen, I'm not. The illegal alien thing, it just goes against everything that America stands for. The way we are rounding people up like cattle. I just don't like that. Now, but again, I understand. I understand why we're doing it. I just don't like the way we're doing it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Don't forget, our show's been brought to you in part by One Stop Wireless, 334-320-2988, 334-320-2988. So if you need a phone, you need to trade your phone. You need a new phone. You need a used phone. You need a phone. I find out that a used phone sometimes works just as good as a new one. They can right there on the corner of 3445 Atlanta Highway, right next to the it's right next to the Shell gas station on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard. You can't miss them. Great folks down there. They will take care of you and all your phone needs. Okay, so they can even fix some phones down there. So don't throw it away yet. You may can reuse it, put it on a different system. Even if that phone came off AT&T or Verizon, a place like that, they can still take care of it. Okay, they can still take care of it. Okay, they can still take care of your telephone. Oh, there's Rob right there. Rob, you're early. Wait, hold on a
It's
second.
going to work.
Huh? Oh, okay. Well, it's working good. So,
All right. Do you need me to come out and come back in at 8, or what you want to do?
Yeah, come back in at 8.
All right, very good. I'll do it.
Appreciate it. But
All
you follow instruction good.
Well, I'll try. I don't know,
Okay, I'll see you then.
All right, take care.
Okay, that's right. That's the guy that's coming on at 8 o'clock with us. He has been he's got some grievances. Okay, I'm just telling you, he's got some grievances with the mayor and the city of Montgomery. Okay, so we'll get him telling you about his story in about 10, 13 minutes, somewhere like that. Okay. Anyway, so enough of that. Don't forget our sponsor, One Stop Wireless, 334-320-29. I'm telling you, you can't find a better deal in Montgomery on a cell phone. You can't find better people than these folks are that sell. You go most places, you just up with a number. I went to Verizon one day, and I just wanted one thing. They said, we're going to give you a tablet if you just buy this. We're just going to give it to you. I said, right on. So after about 6 hours being in there, and then I signed the paperwork, and all they did was put the payment for the tablet onto the phone. I said, I thought you was going to give me a free tablet. Free my tail was not free at all. Okay, let me get, okay, hold on. Okay. Hold on for a minute there, Dr. Joe. Let me make sure I put you back on the the radio wave here. Okay, hold on one second. Let me make sure I can get this done. See, I'm remembering things now as I do them. Okay, share the screen. Blah 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 blah. There we go. Share that and okay, Dr. Joe, what's up?
You remember who Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungary, and Lake and Riley are?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who are they?
Well, they're people killed by people supposedly here illegally. But what about the people who get killed by domestic people who live here their whole life?
Well, you'd be okay. You'd be okay with your son, or either one of your sons, or your granddaughter getting killed by one of these, right? Right. That'd be okay with you?
Well,
that'd be okay with you?
It wouldn't make a difference.
As long as we didn't use zip ties on them, right?
Well, it wouldn't make a difference whether they were from another country, around the neighborhood. The crime is the crime. And I don't think we put everybody in the same basket because a few people have done bad things.
We're not putting people in the same basket. We're putting criminals onto airplanes and sending them back to their countries. What's wrong with that?
Again, it's the way we're doing it, not that we're doing it.
You don't like the way the airplanes are?
I ain't
Are
talking
they
about that.
flying Delta?
It's the way.
What are they flying?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm always in the back seat.
Okay. Well, what do you not like about the airplanes we're sending them on? Are we not feeding them on the flight home?
And again, it's a principle that we take people that, for far as we know,
principle.
Are innocent.
You're talking about principle?
Again, there are people who are trying to get away, like Cuba.
That's not principle.
Okay, so
principle.
So why do we allow then the Cubans to get wet line, dry line? Why do we allow them to do it? If they hit the United States, they can stay.
Not if you're Elian Gonzalez.
Well, that's true too. That was Janet Reno and them, wasn't it? And that was political. Yeah. That was a political move. Had nothing to do with that little fella. And I thought we were wrong in doing that too. But again, I understand the necessity. But what is the necessity?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll put an illegal alien in my house if you'll put one in your house. How about that?
Well, I don't know about my house, because
No. Look, you're fine on the principle of them coming here and doing whatever the hell they want to because they're criminals.
No.
You're fine with them raping people and killing people and sex trafficking children
What about
let them live in your house, in your neighborhood.
What about the good old Americans are doing the same thing?
What about them?
So
we're putting them in jail too. We're sending them back to their country too, but we're putting them in jail in their country.
Mm. Well, again, I just don't like that. I don't mind that we are getting rid of people who are breaking the laws, but that's
who we're doing.
Yeah, but I realize they broke the law getting in here. I realize that. But again, if all they doing is hard work, going to work every day like all of us are doing, that's the American dream. That's the American dream.
Well, their American dream is raping and killing and sex trafficking.
And we got more of us.
That's their American dream. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Wait. We got more of us doing that than people coming in this country doing it.
Well, they're not supposed to be here in the first place, Kevin. Like I said, I'll put one up in my house if you'll put one up in yours. You saw where the woman in Leeds, Alabama, got arrested for interfering with an ICE agent, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't mind that. You don't interfere with those guys doing their job. But that's because it takes us, the citizenry here, to follow up on these things and demand a change and exercise.
So you don't mind if they come here and, like I said, rape your granddaughter or sex traffic her or kill your son or anything like that. You're good with that. As long as they're working and going to work and paying their taxes.
Well, we call that hyperbole now because, of course, I care about those things. And when I'm hurting my children, then somebody will have something to pay. But again, that don't mean
would that be on your principle or the United States principle?
On the United States principle, but what is that thing on the Statue of Liberty say? Give us your what?
The French send us that.
I know they do.
That's a French thing. That's a French girly man thing. That's not.
We accepted it. We accepted it.
We Kevin.
Yes.
We accept thousands of legal immigrants every year.
And I'm with you. But let me tell you what it does do. It gives us a notion as if we were some of the most arrogant people in the whole wide world, uncaring people in the whole wide world. I'm just coming over here trying to get.
I think you're one of the most uncaring people in the whole wide world, Kevin, because you don't care that these people are sex trafficking. And by the way, did you know listen to this? Did you know that in Montgomery, the methadone clinics are full? Do you know why?
People taking drugs.
No, people can't take drugs because Trump shut off their pipeline.
And so, but
you're so uncaring that you don't mind them bringing in drugs, and you don't mind them sex trafficking children, and raping and killing. You don't mind that. You're so uncaring.
Now, you know that's absurd. Of course I mind that. But I know everybody.
You don't care if it happens to somebody else. You just don't want it to happen.
No,
to you.
I'm telling you, everybody don't do
If
that.
they weren't here, it wouldn't be happening by
them.
foreigners.
But it'll still be happening.
But not by them.
Okay, so we make a distinction on who's doing it rather than it's being done.
Well, you make a distinction whether people get killed by a gun or a knife. What difference does it make?
Well,
do you want knife control? Do you want knife control? Yes or no? I want to know.
What y'all want? What?
Knife control. Do you want to change the Constitution to bar people having knives?
Of course not.
Well, then what difference does it make if they're killed by a knife or a gun?
Well, I mean, you're still just as dead.
Okay, I just proved my point.
But again. But
you don't care. You don't mind if people are killed and raped by a foreigner.
If you're going down
or a regular American, you don't care.
If you have a roadblock and you stop people and see if they got their license and stuff like that, and they don't speak English, then we could pretty much put them on if we put them on the scale, chances are they are here illegally, and then you arrest them. But you don't go around people's businesses, jacking people up, putting them in straw. I just don't like that.
Listen, Kevin.
Yeah.
They're doing it down in Texas and Louisiana and all that.
Yeah.
But you know what they're doing?
What are you doing?
When the police arrest them, they hand them over. That way they don't have to do that.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just me. Just one black man.
Yeah, I know it's just you.
Yeah, just me.
You're wrong. You're wrong-headed on this topic.
All right, I appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
Okay, we don't all have to agree. I just when you go to some of these countries and you see the squalor and you see the way people have to live, get the hell out of there too. What's up there?
What's going on, my man?
Not much.
Y'all trying to get me back in the saddle here now. Listen to this nonsense, and I just couldn't help myself again today, Kevin. But I guess this will help me heal a little bit, because listening to all this nonsense the last couple of weeks, I wanted to call in, but my heart wouldn't let me do it. But I'm creeping on back in here slowly because Uncle Joe, he's thinking like the guys back in the 60s and the vice president, white. What the vice president said, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore. Where the hell that come from, Kevin? When have ever white folks ever apologized for anything? Name me one time, Kevin. For the vice president to come out and say something like that, he's feeling pretty comfortable, ain't he? He's feeling pretty comfortable to say something.
Wait a minute. Let's be fair. White people have been.
I ain't not being fair about that.
Wait.
The vice president should not come out and tell people that white people should not feel comfortable about.
Okay. So the NAACP and all these units can.
The NAACP is not the damn vice president of the United States. It's the vice president of the United States for all the people.
And that's what he's saying, that everybody should be treated.
He's saying out his mouth at this makes it so bad at the Charlie Kirk thing where it's supposed to be about Christianity. What make it so bad, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
He came out and said that white people do not have to apologize for being white anymore. So back to Uncle Joe right there, Mr. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Joe, would you rather for a foreigner to kill your daughter, or an American to kill your daughter, or somebody else to kill your daughter, or alien, or some damn bot out of space to kill your child, or whatever? Will you feel more comfortable who did it? That's what you're trying to say, Kevin.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable. We don't give a damn who does it, as long as it's not illegal doing it. Anybody else can knock hell out of them and rape them or whatever. Or got some cop that that took this girl life. I didn't get a chance to speak on that.
The Lake Raleigh thing,
this guy
bad.
This guy claimed he was drugged down the road, Kevin. Okay, right. The one that killed a woman. He claimed he was drugged down the road. So what damn sense does it make for your ass to stand in front of a car to start with? If you done been through that already, Then on top of that, Calvin, this guy standing on the edge, on the corner of the car. You can easily he stepped back. We saw him step his
that's
ass
right.
back.
But
Okay.
you should
Okay.
not move
Let
your
me
car.
finish. Let me finish. I heard your nonsense on here a couple weeks ago.
You should
Let
not
me
move
finish.
your car. You
This
should
guy
move-
was standing on the edge of the damn car.
which
on the edge.
he could have been hit.
Calvin.
Yeah.
This guy claimed he was drugged down the road. So
He could
why
have
have
been
you
hit.
got your stupid ass out there to stop with?
Well, let me ask you, because
You already
you're trying to stop
went
her
through this
from moving.
traumatized kind of situation here.
I hear you, bro. He was trying to stop her from moving. She shouldn't have been moving.
Calvin.
Yeah.
Huh?
She
That
shouldn't have
lady
been-
had the right to drive her car.
No, she don't.
Huh?
Not if she is stopped by the law
He
enforcement.
did not try to hit him. You know damn
Yes, she
well he didn't try to hit him.
Yes, she did.
And on the last thing,
Yeah.
did you see the video of this last incident? What's your excuse on this one, Calvin?
I've seen a bunch of
Come
videos
on.
on it.
No, the one that the guy just got shot.
Well,
What's your excuse this
he
time?
did. He did have a gun.
Well, hell, the Rifle Association say you can have your gun, and those guys went to Wisconsin a couple years ago. Walked in there with the damn rifles inside her damn building. Calvin, come on now.
I hear you.
With
Uh-huh.
with rifles on the shoulder inside the place.
And
What you
again,
talking about?
and again, you know,
Peaceful protest. They
if-
call
if-
peaceful
if you-
protest.
if you do stupid things, you get stupid results. Don't carry a gun
Who?
while
Kevin.
the police were doing their job. Don't show a gun.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin. These police walked up to this guy. Went over there where he was. He's holding up a damn camera, dude. Come on. That wasn't a gun. Come on.
Okay.
You still trying to justify
He did
when I
have.
was lying.
He did. Was that not his gun he had?
That was his gun. He had it strapped inside a holster.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Well,
the guy, one of your men, see, like, well, I'm gonna call him one of your boys, so you protecting him right now. One of your boys went up and took the damn gun off his side, and the gun accidentally went off, and that's where all the shit hit the fan.
yeah.
Huh?
Well, I hear you.
Come on.
I hear you, bro. What can I say?
But you still want to try to justify,
No,
right?
no. I'm telling you that we still don't.
Uncle Joe may try to justify, but Uncle Joe, I hope none of these thugs and these black guys and the white guys in the United States do nothing to any of your family members, sir, since you only concerned about the one overseas doing stuff to your daughters or the sons.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Listen. And one thing about America, brother, we all got our opinion. And that happens to be yours. I ain't mad at you. Appreciate it. That happens to be yours. I think there's a way and a protocol that you use to do things. Anyway, I don't have time to take another call here in the morning right now anyway, because I got a guest come up at 8 o'clock. So let me take my little break here, and we will be right back after this. All right, I got about 1 minute, and I got to go. Take a break.
That's good. That's good. Boy, I thought you done cut me off. I done forgot all about this 334 thing you got to put on numbers anymore to dial.
Oh.
Hey, you think if you cut the profanity out of Duke, you'd speak more than 20 seconds?
No.
I mean, every other word is a cuss word.
No.
Hey, Kevin, if I put you on an acre of land somewhere, how long would you last?
With nothing but land? That's it?
Land's all you need, right?
No, you need
can come here broke. You can come in broke and not have anything. We got plenty of land. Who's going to put a building on it? Who's going to pay for that? You going to pay for it?
Well, you got to figure out how to get that done.
No, you just don't let them come. You wouldn't be happy from everyone coming all around the world. Look at old Camilla. She talking about they just wanted one color. You remember how bad she jumped up and down when the whites came from South Africa? I think it's Camilla that only wants one color. What do you think about that, Kevin? Hey, Kevin, you know they're arresting illegals every day in Texas, plenty of them, and you don't see the crap you have in Minneapolis. Why is that, Kevin?
It is an amazing thing that all of the problem is coming from Minneapolis.
It's because they're causing the problem. There's some deep problems in Minneapolis with the Antifa and the rest of the scumbums is up in that thing. And then you got your little girlfriend, whatever her name is. What's the one Somali representative?
Yeah.
Her husband and her got $30 million in over a year. No wonder she's yelling about about
Okay,
the
appreciate
hateful
my
white
my
folk.
my guest is here, so we can talk about it a little later on. My guest is here. Let's see now if I can put him on this thing here at the stage. Okay, see how this technology worked there, Rob?
I got you.
Okay, now tell the folks who you. Let me get out of this. Tell the folks who you are, and and what's going on.
So my name is Rob Fortner. I am the former 911 director for the city of Montgomery. I have 42 years of emergency communications experience, having started out down in Foley Police Department in 1983. Went to Gulf Shores after that, went to Baldwin County's 911 when they first built that, went over to Pensacola, spent 14 years over there, Panama City, Wichita, Kansas, then Tucson, Arizona, and then back to Montgomery, having landed in Montgomery in November of 2023 and was hired by Chip Hill, the former chief of staff, and the mayor to take the 911 center in a new direction, supposedly at the time. It didn't play out that way, and the problems were bigger than what even they think, what I believe that they thought that they were. But later on, things deteriorated and just became. I became an easy person to blame. For decades worth of problems. So my employment with the city terminated in July of 2025. And then I just had the appeals hearing, and the appeals board sided with the mayor. It was pretty clear, they spent 15 months making sure that I knew that I wasn't welcome in Montgomery. And we can all debate or talk about what the various motivations for that were. But it is what it is.
So, what do you think the motivation was about?
A couple of things. I would be, well, first of all, I'm not necessarily qualified to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for people to throw racism around and things like that, and I'm not prepared to really do that. I will tell you, however, that I have complained or launched an inquiry, as they say it, with the EEOC and with the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, because there were some things. It wasn't so much if they want to separate their relationship with me, I'm fine with that because I reserve the same right. But I think it had to do with the way that the city did it, that could be problematic. And so I turned it over to the professionals and let them decide whether or not there were racial issues at play here. The legal standard, as I understand it, and I'm not a lawyer, the legal standard is my boss was black and I'm white. And it really doesn't take much more than that to get an inquiry launched. Now, the city will get a chance to respond to that. I did my due diligence and reported what I saw and how I was treated in Montgomery. And so my position is let the experts decide whether a line was crossed or not.
So your termination is final?
Yes.
Okay. And you still have, I would imagine, still have some remedies that are still available to you if you don't want to. Okay.
Yeah. So the way the process works is you file what they call an inquiry or whatever with the EEOC, and then they send a letter to, I guess, or whatever, to the city of Montgomery, and then the city of Montgomery responds to that, and then the EEOC looks at all the facts and decides whether or not they'll issue an authorization to sue, as it were. I'm not necessarily that kind of person. I don't really have, I mean, there's been a lot of things that have happened to me over the course of my life and other people too. And we just, suing is a pretty extreme position to take. Mm-hmm. Now, I will tell you that, and Alabama's real quick to tell you that, and most states are, but it's an at-will employment state. They don't have to tell you anything. They can tell you everything. You know, they can hire you at will, they can fire you at will. And I don't have any problem with that because you don't really have any choice but for that to be the way it is. But if they violate your rights along the way, that becomes a problem. You know, I've had legal counsel throughout the whole process. Up to, I didn't have a lawyer with me at the appeals hearing, and there were a number of reasons for that. Some strategic, some logistical. But what I have been told consistently is it has everything to do with the manner in which you're treated while it's going on. And in some of the cases, some of the things that the city allege, at the end of the day, violate, at least, again, I'm not a lawyer, but violate the First Amendment right to free speech, also the 14th Amendment right to equal protection. And then, yeah, there is a question about whether the civil rights Title VII has been violated. So it'll be up to the EEOC to decide that. I have a responsibility to report, you know, things, not because I enjoy doing that, you know, because through this whole process, I mean, there have been a lot of reports filed with a lot of different people. The state 911 board, because of you know, the 911 center in Montgomery, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, I don't know that I would go so far as to say that it is failing, but I might. Certain pieces of it have failed. There's no doubt about that. There are other pieces of it that are just underperforming, right? Now, in the private sector, if you look at, like, you know, quick service restaurants, you know, McDonald's or Hardee's or Olive Garden or those kind of things. If you have an underperforming store, they bring in new management to see if maybe that was the problem, you know, and why it's consistently underperforming. And once they've done those types of things and started looking at it, if at the end of the day it's still underperforming, they shut it down. Well, there's no real mechanism to do that in Alabama as it relates to a 911 center. So the issues in Montgomery are coming to a head when it comes to that center. And I don't know that anybody really knows how to fix it, to include the city. But blaming one person and trying to make it look like, you know, scapegoating ain't the way to go. That's just not the way to go.
So let me get direct to the point here. You feel that you were let go because race? I mean, you think that had something to do with it?
So yes. As it turns out, I did not know, it had not been disclosed to me, that there was an internal candidate for the same job that I ultimately got.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Not knocking that person. It's not
Right.
my place. It's not my place to knock that person. She had 27 years, 25 years with the city. I mean, so Chip and them decided to hire me. You know, from what he said during the interview process and stuff like that, I think what they were looking for is great. You know, that my wealth of experience, the broad, you know, the number of places that I've worked, and stuff like that, that they felt like there was maybe a greater depth of knowledge of the industry and where things needed to go and stuff like that. That was the way it was framed to me, but I didn't know there was another player involved in it at all. When I got to Montgomery, then things started coming out that there was a black female assistant director who was not as qualified as me. She was qualified enough to apply and qualified enough to place on the list, placed on the roster. But until the day I met her, I had no idea that there was even another candidate in the mix, right? So it was innocent with her, it was innocent with me. And the honeymoon period lasted probably about 3 weeks to a month, maybe. And then, you know, we start seeing some decline. But, you know, let's just call it what it is. Chip was white. All right. I'm white. Most of the employees in the center are actually African-American. I didn't have any knowledge about that going in. Doesn't matter to me. I've worked with people of all stripes, right? You know, I have a job to do. I do it. I tend to be gender neutral and colorblind as it relates to all of that. Same way with the people that I serve. Not only the people that I work with, but the people that I serve. Right. So there was always kind of a little bit of a tension, but she had a better handle on the employees, as you might expect, than I do, because I don't know any of them, right? But some of the things that I saw going on in the center with underperformance and things like that, she would know better about dealing with the employees and how do we start turning this around. I see, from my experience, I see the structural imperfections. I see the call load versus the number of people we have in there to be able to process those calls and that kind of thing. But now how do we actually start righting the ship, as it were? So she and I discussed that, and I said, first of all, there's a structural problem here. And there is, because they followed a model that tends to fail. All right. And that happened years ago, long before. We're talking about probably 2013, where whoever was in charge back then followed a particular staffing model that has, over the course of years, proven to be ineffective in a center the size of Montgomery. All right. It works great in New York. It works great in Chicago. It does not work in the messy middle. Right, the Montgomerys of the world, the Gainesvilles of the world, right, where you have call takers and you have dispatchers. Well, what that system does is chronically underproduce dispatchers, right? So you just don't have enough people. And in fact, even in Montgomery today, they are budgeted for 28 dispatchers. They've got 4. That's not per shift. That's period. 4. All right, for a community of 200,000 people.
So why do you think that we can't get anybody up there to work?
I think first of all, it's a really high stress job. All right. So when I first started out in this business, and this was again in '83, the average person doing it was 21 years old, doing it for 2.5 years. Okay, it's usually a stepping stone position. Somebody wants to be a police officer, somebody wants to be a firefighter, paramedic, or whatever. So they'll go into dispatch and work there for a couple of years, get some experience, learn the geography of the area and stuff like that, and then they move on up. That's how the model used to work. Now today, all these years later, it's still only about 23 years old, still doing it for 2.5 years. So highly volatile, high turnover, right? However, one of the things that I saw in Montgomery that was kind of an outlier and really against my experience base was they come in the door and you can't keep them through training. Now, I saw something similar when I was in Pensacola, and it had to do with, you would get somebody in training, and let's say that it takes 4 months to train them. And you would get them to about the 3-month mark, and you could start to see that performance may be changing or whatever, or that they no longer cared about the job. And then, you get them on over the finish line, and they're there for about a month, and then all of a sudden they're turning in their resignation. Well, when that happened enough times, we started really looking at what's causing this. Let's peel the onion back and see where the train left the tracks. And what we saw was something would happen about 3 weeks in where the student, the trainee, whatever you want to call them, didn't feel like they were getting the fair feedback, or maybe it was too much feedback that was negative constantly. And so they started looking for a job on week 3. It just took them that long to find another one that they could bail from us. So we were just going through a lot of going through the motions at some point, because it just didn't work. Now, so we fixed that in Pensacola, and we didn't have that problem. We had different problems, but we didn't have that problem. So I come to Montgomery, and it's almost kind of like deja vu all over again, right? Where they're not making it through training. Well, why are they not making it through training? There are a number of factors involved in that, to be fair to everybody. Right? I mean, again, some people get in there and go, this is not what I thought it was, right? I mean, it's just the train's left the tracks. It's just not for me. And you do see some of that. What I did see, however, in Montgomery was also some mistreatment, right? Um, and so we had to have that conversation. I sent correspondence to the instructors that we have. I better not hear of this again. I don't care what you thought you were doing, but we're not going to be yelling across the room at coworkers, when they're trying to learn how to do this job. This is not appropriate. So to deal with those kinds of things, I talked to the assistant director, and I said, we're going to have to do something different. Just having call takers, because again, there's layers of problems. You had the new employees coming in, and then you had the call takers, and then you had the dispatchers. The dispatchers can only do one thing. They can't do everything in the room. I was always trained, and all of the centers that I've run similar size to Montgomery, everybody in the room should be capable of doing everything in the room. And that's not how it works in Montgomery. It's also not how it works in Chicago. You'll become a call taker, and sooner or later down the road, you may be offered an opportunity to promote into a dispatcher position. Well, looking at that from like the personnel management side of things, looking at it from the HR perspective, some of that makes perfect sense. When you get to actually trying to cover shifts, it makes no sense. Okay, if I call out sick tonight and I'm a fire dispatcher, and you don't have any other fire dispatchers to cover for me because you only have 2 of us to begin with, all right, sooner or later the numbers, you run out. You run out of bodies, you run out of skill sets. So that's why you don't do it the way Montgomery has done it. But Montgomery also, the employees feel like we've done this for all these years and this worked just fine. I'm telling you folks, if you are budgeted for 28 people and you've only got 4 doing it, it ain't working just fine. So it's just all those kind of layers of stuff. But where I draw the line is it is a trainer's responsibility to develop the trainee. Now it's a two-way street. The employee needs to learn how to do this job, and the people who train them have a wealth of experience and knowledge to share with them. But I'm not going to be party to bullies.
Okay. Have you had an opportunity to talk to the mayor personally about this?
No. It was all done through his. So that became part of the issue, and I think that's why, to some degree, there's a racial component to it, because I was hired by or through a white chief of staff, and I was fired by or through a black chief of staff, right? So Chip Hill hired me with the mayor's blessing, and then Chip, I had been there for, I guess, 6 months at that point, and Chip had announced his resignation. He was going back into the private sector or whatever, and Jeremy Reed was assigned as the new chief of staff, so he would be the one that I reported to. Now, he's admitted that he has a different management style than Chip did, but he gave me no opportunity. He, being Jeremy, gave me no opportunity to adjust to his management style. This was kind of like, I ticked him off, and the bottom line is, and I know it, I've been doing this long enough, they can deny whatever they want to. I ticked him off with a social media post in response to something that the police department and the Montgomery Advertiser had done. I ticked him off, and I was on my way out the door after that. And it just took them months to do it. I mean, they played with this for 15 months. Kind of ridiculous when you sit down and think about it, but whatever. But no, the mayor and I never had a conversation about any of this, what I thought was right, what I thought was wrong. What I will tell you that he did, and that Chip did, and I'm very proud of, independent of whether they thought I was doing right by the employees or not. One of the things that I was able to do and that I'm very proud of is the mayor and Chip, based on my recommendation, spent $3.5 million, all right, in equipment and software upgrades. So that's going to take them into the next 10 to 15 years, right? So when I was having trouble with the employees and them digging their heels in about this is the way we've always done it, you're not going to come in here and change it. So what do? You kind of pivot, right? You pivot to where you can be successful. All right, well, if the employees are going to sit over here and fight about it, I'll work on the things that I can actually get done while we're playing these little games. But what I'm saying by all that is that Chip and the mayor were incredibly supportive of me when I first came to work for the city. And literally, Chip told me, he said, if there's, because even when the employees started complaining, I went to Chip and I said, listen, do I need to slow things down a little bit? I mean, are we trying to take too big of a chunk too fast? And I need to scale that back a little bit because I'm perfectly fine with doing that. Chip's response was, Rob, if there's something that you see that we need to implement out there, you go out there and you implement it. All right. Well, that's the best marching order somebody like me can get. Right. And so, well, I say all that to say that they were incredibly supportive. Now, even when the employees started complaining, going down to the inspector general's office and all that. Now, there was a white inspector general at the time too, so I don't know what that means or doesn't mean. But Chip told me, because I asked him, I said, do I need to slow this stuff down? And he said, no. And he said, don't worry about that complaint business. He said, those employees have gotten spoiled out there, and you're coming in and giving them a different direction. And you have mine and the mayor's full support. That was all I knew. That's all I knew. And then as Chip was leaving, then this thing came up with the social media post and with the Montgomery Advertiser and the police department, blah, blah, blah. And so it just started rapidly deteriorating. Well, Jeremy Reed, who has never done anything with the 911 center a day in his life, who had formerly been the chief operating officer, although I never saw him doing anything operationally for the city. He all of a sudden is going to become my new boss, the new chief of staff. Black guy, and completely against me from the day my first interaction with him after he had become chief of staff. It was a devolving thing from that moment on. It was just one negative thing after another. And when I tried to explain anything to Mr. Reed, he would sit there and just double down. And it's gotten so bad now that it's like somehow or another it feels like he's got some sort of personal vendetta against me. I don't know if it's because I'm white. I don't know if it's because he, I don't know. I don't know what it is. What I do know is I got a black guy who, no matter what I do, even with 42 years of experience, he's going to find a way to argue about it. So that's the piece of it that to me requires the attention of the EEOC and the Civil Rights folks.
Have you tried to get a meeting with the mayor?
No, because again, everything was done. So once you start getting into the discipline track, you don't get the chance to get to the mayor. You don't see the mayor. The people I saw were my department head, which was Jeremy Reed, and then I saw the mayor's representative, which was former Judge Price. Okay, you never see the mayor during that process, right? And then even when decisions are made, nobody comes to you and sits down and says, this is how this is going to go. Everything's done passive aggressive through the mail. We decided this, we decided that, so it's, they ain't interested in talking to nobody. Mayor ain't interested in talking to me, and so it just kind of becomes a kind of a crosswalk. But what I was talking about with the African-American female was, what they did with me was the day after they removed me, they put me on administrative leave. I was told to gather up my personal things. Jeremy Reed was doing this. I was told to gather my personal things up out of my office, and that my facility access would be terminated the following morning. Also, the following morning, they announced that the city, the Reeds, different spelling, but the Reeds, announced that I was out and that the assistant director, black female, was in. So now the city toyed with that for 15 months, right? I'll say that again, 15 months of me sitting here not knowing whether I'm going to have a job or not. They were still paying me. So for 11 months, the city of Montgomery's paying me to sit down here on a lake near Gulf Shores, while they figure out what it is they're going to do. I also think it gave them an opportunity to give that black female assistant director enough time to actually get some experience under her belt, okay, so that they could legitimately do what they ultimately did. Who knows? Who knows what lies in the hearts of men, and I don't care, right? Because again, I'm a department head, and even the policies that the city reports that I violated, it clearly says that the department head can make the choices that I made, right? I don't have a reading comprehension issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was trained in Florida. I was educated in Florida. Alabama school systems didn't do me a good job in high school, much less today, But I know how to read. And when a policy says that a department head is authorized to interpret policy, I take that just as what it says, right? That I am authorized to interpret policy. I interpreted the policy apparently in a way that the mayor then didn't want to do. But whatever, but no, they're not talking to me, and communication ended with me for the most part.
So what is the remedy that you want them to put forth?
That I want who to put forth?
The city. Because you're suing them. So
Well,
what?
I'm not suing them yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No, I'm not. So again, at this point, really, what we're in is the reporting phase.
Okay.
To me, I mean, there are some things that so to break this down a little bit, there are things that I saw and things that I experienced that deviate from the norm when it comes to 911 operations. Okay, like for example, the staffing and how money is spent on staffing. They don't have a money issue at that 911 center. Okay. It's how they're spending that money or whether they're spending that money on personnel. That's where the issues start coming in. So I did my part and I reported what I saw to the Alabama 911 board. That's up to them. All right. Now I will tell you that the executive director of that board has recently announced her resignation because I think everybody sees the handwriting on the wall, but she and I haven't spoken. Anyway, then there's that piece. But then there's also this piece about the possibility of some civil wrongs having occurred, all right, as a result of how I was treated. I don't know whether I was treated wrong or not. What I know is how it felt, and it didn't feel good, right? And when I know that I have certain constitutional rights, and when I know that a lawyer tells me I have certain constitutional rights that have been stomped on, that becomes a problem. And so that's the part that I want other people to look at. The DOJ and the EEOC, I don't have to sue anybody. The EEOC can sue on my behalf or on any other person's behalf if they think that somebody's been mistreated, right? I don't necessarily have to be the one that brings that case. The same way on the criminal side, there are criminal statutes that if people conspire to violate somebody's rights, okay, they can be criminally charged. Now, certainly I would be a witness in those types of environments. If a grand jury got launched and somebody they were trying to indict somebody, I would certainly be a witness in those types of activities. But I can't do anything with the city of Montgomery, even if I wanted to, until the EEOC says a line has been crossed. Okay, I don't know that legal line has been crossed. That's not for me to know, for the average person to know. What I do know is it's worthy of investigation. It is worthy of seeing whether or not a line did get crossed. Now, that becomes a different conversation. If they rule in the affirmative, then it is kind of my choice about, well, do you want to pursue this? Do you not want to pursue this? I'm not looking, and I have not been looking to beg the city of Montgomery for my job back. I know that's not going to happen. I've moved on from all of that foolishness. All right. Because the other side of the coin is it would be the same thing. If I went back to work for them tomorrow, it would start the next day all over again because the employees have realized that they can successfully manipulate the system, the city system, the inspector general's system, okay, to their advantage. So there's no real going back as an option. Now we're just talking about compensation if I was wronged, if I were to even seek that. Chances are I won't, but I don't know that until somebody tells me that you actually were harmed. I mean, I know I was
Right.
harmed.
Are you still on leave? Are you still on leave now?
No, no. The leave business, all that ended at the end of July, when after we had the meeting with mayor's representative, which was Judge Price. After that, I was no longer on leave. I was no longer a city employee, and I was no longer being compensated. That's where, according to the legal standard, that's where I became harmed, is when there was an adverse action. And if that, and so the legal standard for the EEOC business and all of that, and civil rights business, is if I was harmed, and I was harmed by a member of the opposite race, then there is some degree of standing. Right, because now the Supreme Court has ruled that there is no such thing as reverse discrimination. A lot of people use that term for decades. Discrimination is discrimination is discrimination. That's the way it is now, according to a unanimous decision by the Supreme Court. I think the irony of the whole thing, and I don't like this, and it's not about this to me. I'm not somebody that's just got, I'm not like I'm not somebody who's looking for a cause or a drum to beat, kind of thing. But I do think that it's ironic, and not necessarily in a good way, that in the very city that launched the civil rights movement in the 1950s, when white people controlled Montgomery and the structure of the city, here we are in 2026 dealing with the same issues, but in the reverse. Okay? Has a black mayor and his black chief of staff and a black inspector general and a black this and a black that and a black the other, okay, conspired, or even without there being a conspiracy, even through reckless disregard, did they trample on the rights of a white man in the same city where all of this started? That to me is just, that's the piece of this that I have trouble with. The rest of it, you don't want me to work for you. You don't want me to go in the direction. You don't think I'm going in the direction that was trying to turn it around. Fine. And I'm a big boy. Okay. But let's not do this. We're better than this.
That is a interesting story. So there's no such thing as reverse discrimination, just discrimination, which I can understand that it's the act, not the color. I am surprised somewhat you have not had an audience with the mayor. That surprises me. Have you asked for one?
No.
Okay, so why not? Just
well, like I told him during my appeals hearing and in the summation, the city has gone out of their way for 15 months to make sure that I know that I'm not welcome there. Okay? Why do it? Why beat a dead horse? I mean, they've had their processes. Their processes check out. I do not make now. I have never made a due process claim. Okay. Because that goes into the fairness thing. And I'm sure that may have factored into some of the city stuff. They may not be able to allow that type of conversation to occur, during the process, because it might mess up some due process things. I can completely respect that. Right. Now, if we want to have a conversation, if the mayor and I were to have a conversation over a cup of coffee about what's really going right, what's really going wrong, or where I really screwed up, or where he really got offended, or whatever, I'm certainly open to those types of conversations. It's not like I'm I don't build walls, right? I'm just not that kind of a person. But I got to be honest. I mean, there's a certain amount of opportunistic stuff that looked like it was going on here, and timing. So I mean, the responsibility isn't really on me. One of the things that you are required to do when you're going through and when you're on administrative leave, the city can terminate that administrative leave if you don't jump through the hoops they tell you to jump through. Okay, so it's not like one of the hoops was you're going to go see the mayor before any
Mhm.
decision is made. You go see the mayor's representative. You don't see the mayor. That's their process. That's not Rob Fortner's. Okay.
But you never requested to see him. I would have. I mean, he ultimately has the authority to say yay or nay.
You meet the rep. No, you don't. I don't have the authority to do that. I don't.
No,
I don't.
but the mayor does. The mayor has
No,
the authority.
no. What I'm saying is that there was no option for me to request that.
You're a citizen.
The closer you get, well, so I could do it after the fact as a private citizen. Now I could do that, but as you know, on some level, when you're an employee, whether it's in the city of Montgomery or it's the state of Alabama or it's in Alabama, you get treated a certain degree like a piece of property. We used to joke about it in Florida where, oh, you're just a number to City Hall. They don't care, you know. And so there is that piece of it. But no, there was no opportunity. I didn't request one. One was never offered to me to be able to meet with the mayor. I met with the mayor's representative because that's the way the process worked.
How many dispatchers should we have in 911?
28 is what they're budgeted for.
And we got 4.
And you've got 4.
So
you also have 2 more that are in some level of training, but I mean, we're not even close.
So where does the money go that was allocated for that? Where's the money go?
Okay, so that's a fair question, and I will tell you now, and I will go to my grave saying this, right? As it relates to the mayor, as it relates to the city, as it relates to me, every dime is accounted for. Okay, they do. The state requires it, number one, but also the city. The city safeguards are actually probably better than the state's. Okay, so every dime is accounted for, and it's just sitting in a reserve. That's the short answer. When I got there, that reserve was at $9 million. Okay, because they couldn't keep the employees, so this money's just kind of going into an account. Now, 911 doesn't. So here's how funding 911 works in Alabama. Not one dime of the city's general fund is spent on that 911 center. When you pay every month, if you have a cell phone or whatever, you pay $2.23, just like I do. Okay, that money then goes to the state 911 board. And then they are a pass-through agency. They'll take 1 or 2% for administrative processing. And the rest of the money goes straight to the city of Montgomery, where they have an account that is separate from the general fund that takes care of that it just sits there. Now, it can be used in Alabama for more things than a lot of states allow.
Right. How much, let's say out of $1, how much of that dollar actually ends up with the city of Montgomery? Do you know?
Certainly more than 95 cents, but probably closer to 98 or 99 cents.
Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. So you feel in your heart of hearts, because you're a white man, that you've been discriminated against because of color, or is that just a byproduct of the optics?
I think that color is a factor. I can't say that it is the determining factor. That's not for me. You know, I don't know where the mayor's head and heart is or anything else. I have to believe it is a factor. I know it's a factor when it comes to how some employees were treated. I mean, I've literally had white employees in that center when they were leaving told me this was horrible. I should have never been treated like this. And you know, of the employees they have, you know, most of them, I mean, the vast majority are African American females. Okay, that's just the reality.
Right.
And so these white employees are telling me, you know, I mean, I don't have to put up with this. And so you end up with kind of a white flight going on within the department. I mean, when I was there, we lost every white student that we had. None of them stayed. And then of the white employees that were there, we brought 4 in as contractors, kind of like the traveling nurses program.
Right.
There's an organization that does the same kind of thing with dispatchers now. And I think of the 4 that they brought in, of course, I never saw any of them because they were there. They got there after I had been put on leave. But I think the 3 of the 4 were white, and 2 of the 3 reached out to me. You don't know me, I don't know you, but this is horrible. This is horrible. This is not how you run a 911 center. Now, they too said the same thing that I'm saying, that they didn't feel like they were treated well by the employees.
Mhm.
Again, how much of that was black and white, I can't say. They couldn't say. But they said you could certainly tell that we were not welcome there.
Okay, so let me just to clear it up. You were on leave for a year or so.
So your message got garbled there somehow.
Yeah. Well, you were on leave for a year or so.
Yeah, about 11 months. I think it was from September 30th of 24 to the bottom end of July, somewhere around the 23rd, I think, of July.
And we were paying you to.
Yes.
So you can't complain about due process, I guess.
Oh, absolutely not. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, even in fairness to the city, what I think was going on during that time is you got to remember that the Montgomery City County Personnel Board no longer exists. It's been replaced by a Montgomery
combined board.
Now it's just called Montgomery Personnel Board.
Right.
Okay. So while it used to be a joint operation, the mayor and them petitioned the state legislature. The legislature approved it, and then the governor let it pass by not signing it. But had requested to do away with the Montgomery City County Personnel Board and have its own board, right? Now, the argument becomes, and was for me, because I made it, I raised that flag and I said, I'm going to tell you, now let's just be fair about this. Some of this looks like this board is a rubber stamp for the mayor, okay? Because so the customer agencies for this new Montgomery Personnel Board are the City of Montgomery and the Montgomery Airport Authority. Now, what that tells me is that probably about 25% of that funding for that board and all of its operations or whatever is coming from the Montgomery Airport Authority, and probably 75% is coming from the city. I mean, the city has 2,500 employees, right? So you could bet they're going to have a bigger stake. Well, again, if this board is funded by the city and the city is the ones trying to get rid of me, what are your chances? How independent is it? Right? That becomes, and I raised that issue, and they tried to address it, by saying, well, the board members are volunteers, whatever. But again, I try to be very, very practical. That's how you survive in public administration, is by being practical. So, the reality is it's a show. On some level, it's a show. The trick is that it would never, and the only reason that I pursued it, and I told them that, I'm here, I'm not here begging for my job back. Okay. I'm here because I have to be. Mm-hmm. There's a legal standards called exhausting the administrative.
Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, I had to pause for the calls.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Let's wrap it up. So what is your desire to come out of all of this? Do you want to go back to work for the city? Or are you?
I don't think that's an option. I mean, I've been told all kind of things. I've been told that, you could actually go into federal court with it, and that a judge can declare, that what they did was wrong. I've only heard that once. I mean, and of course, it's privileged conversations between somebody and their attorney,
Yeah.
right? That kind of thing. But at one point, he did say, "Oh no, he can issue a declaratory judgment. He can do a summary. He or she can do a summary judgment and force them to put you back to work." Right? I mean, how legal that is, or how that works, or what's involved in that, I don't know. I don't think it's going to. Practically, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Even, I mean, there would have to be. Well, it's just nobody has
Brought that up.
I think that we are in diametrically opposed positions that neither one of us can get past, me or the city. All right. Because first of all, any job that you've got to sue for, I'm not really sure is worth having.
Well, that's true. But let me ask you something. Did you have, for the time you worked there, did you have any, like in the Army, we call them evaluations? Evaluations?
No. And in fact, that became an issue during the hearing before Judge Price, because Jeremy Reed all of a sudden starts alleging that there were performance problems. And my attorney asked him straight up in front of Judge Price under oath, where are the reports? Okay? If there's these performance problems that Mr. Fortner had, where are the reports? And he just kind of demurred on that and didn't even answer the question. Okay? So they allege, and even that, I mean, Mr. Reed's, his story changed throughout this whole process. And he alleged that I didn't have certain authorities, which clearly the book said I did have. It was, I mean, it became kind of personal with him. I felt like I was, for whatever reason, being personally attacked by Jeremy Reed. And then when I went to at the final appeals hearing, now Reed, when my original scheduled date for the appeal was like in October. And I was scheduled to go on a Monday. And the Friday before that Monday, it was announced in the paper that Jeremy Reed had abruptly resigned as the mayor's chief of staff. I don't know what that was about, none of my business, but I found the timing interesting, right? Nevertheless, when they did reschedule it got rescheduled for 3 months later. So we come into, or 4 months, whatever it was, we come into January 12th was when the appeals hearing date. Jeremy Reed, who was no longer a city employee, shows up to testify at that appeals hearing. I don't know if his hatred of me was just that bad or exactly what was going on there, but all of a sudden, he's the one making the case, and he goes on and on about, well, I talked to the mayor about this, and I told him that Mr. Fortner's communication style was not the path forward for us, and that we couldn't, and all this kind of stuff. That was all new information. First time he'd ever divulged any of that. So that's where I'm sitting there kind of going, you know what? I think this is about me and you, sport. I think now this has become personal to you.
Yeah, I'm thinking if he's no longer working for the city, why would he have a city function? I don't know. Well, listen, we wish you the best.
I appreciate it.
And if you ever need some more time to come spill it, but I think you did a pretty good job this morning.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity, and just so you know, I mean, and so your listeners know, I mean, I don't have anything against the people of Montgomery. I met some fine folks when I was there, both in the 911 center, out in the community, in the other departments, but yeah, I'm just I move on to other things, and my life is good. I got no real complaints. But I do think that there needs to be at least, especially the links that the city went to investigate me. I figure it's just okay for some of these state and federal agencies to investigate the investigators.
Well, at least you got a year payment almost without having to go to work.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's pretty good, Okay. But man, Rob, I appreciate you coming on this morning. Now people got a better idea what was actually because now I did bring your case up to the mayor last time he was on. He said that we're going to find out things that we didn't know and all that stuff. So we'll see.
And so there are things that we even didn't discuss today about call loads and meeting national standards and stuff like that they can't do. So I mean, he has, it's all been personal against me, and that's fine, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Different points of view, but I never went out of my way to hurt anybody. Now I expected results, right?
Yeah.
I'm not running a social program.
Well, that's true. I agree with you. Well, thank you a lot, Rob.
All right.
Now I'm going to rerun this around 6 o'clock tonight, so
Okay.
you and your boys can get together and have a beer and see it. Okay? Anyway, appreciate you coming on, Rob Fortner, the guy.
Y'all have a great day.
All right, you too.
All right.
Okay. Well, that was an interesting conversation. Huh. Well, somebody said if it smells like it, looks like it, feels like it, it must be it. Not necessarily, but there's a high probability that it is what it feels like. Anyway, Robert Fortner. Now, the other day, I was talking to you guys about a woman who couldn't keep her mouth shut because she was stopped by the police. And I think she was right, but she just did it the wrong way. She was about in Atlanta. Okay, now in Atlanta, they had this. They got this body count of these people get stopped in a park. They're not from Montgomery. They're not from. They're not from Atlanta. They just passing through, and they stopped at a park. Okay, they stopped at a park. Okay, and the police came up and gave them a ticket. So you're not supposed to be in the park. Okay, then. Well, let me see. Okay, so let me see if I get this right here. Okay. So.
Okay, I'm about to go raise Grady for you.
Now, this is the one of those states. The police stopped these folks, right? They stopped these folks and said, you can't be in the park and late night. Now they just passing through Atlanta. Okay, they don't know the rules, and you can't. I mean, most places you can go to the park, I would assume, and watch the birds and stuff like that. Well, now
All right, crew, we are going to bust some common.
Okay, I hear you. But it just seemed like to me that the police in Atlanta were wrong on this one. So I'm going to let you guys see this, and you tell me what you think. Were they wrong? I certainly believe they were wrong on this one, and I hope these folks get a whole lot of money out of this deal. Okay, because I think they got screwed.
Weight loss myths. Cut all carbs.
Okay, come on, give me a break here. Okay, I don't want to see this. Okay, so let me see if I can.
Wrong.
Weight loss shot.
Okay. So here it goes. We'll be right back. Let me make sure I get my thing on here right quick. Because I think this is some of that mad black woman thing right here that sometimes happens, and sometimes just because you can say something, it don't mean you should. Sometimes you just got to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. We got a couple minutes left. Okay, so let me go. Let's go to my finger right here. Stop that one. Go to that one. Let me see. Now share screen. Facebook 9. Okay, let me see here where we are. This is really good. I mean, it really is good. But I want you guys to see it. Okay. Okay, let me see. Also share. Now I don't want to do that. Let's go to the whole window, entire screen. There we go, right there. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, here we go.
What's going on? How y'all doing? All right. Well, I see the Ohio time. I'm not sure if y'all from here or not, but you can't be inside the park in the city of Atlanta between the hours 11 p.m. 6 a.m. Got your IDs on you?
Okay, now remember, they're not from Atlanta. They don't know what's going on. They're passing through. They can't. The guy said you can't be in the park in Atlanta from 6 a.m. till from 7 a.m. till 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so I guess they don't have many homeless people over there. Homeless people over there sleeping. Let's go.
You have your IDs on you?
Yes.
I'm gonna need them.
He already getting an attitude. Come on now. Come on.
Copy your citation. Do you have any questions? I gave it to you 2 times, man.
Okay, I'm asking again.
And I'm not giving it to you.
Okay.
Are you gonna sign it?
No, because I want your badge
Okay,
number.
that's fine.
Okay, at this point, they wanted her to sign the ticket. She said, I'm not signing the ticket. Okay. He said, well, if you don't sign the ticket, I'm going to put you in jail. She said, I'm not signing the ticket. Okay, then.
Hey, listen, my man. Back up.
She needs to put her.
Can I?
Okay, you can put your phone down.
Okay, Mr. Brown. Oh my God.
Put your hands behind your back.
I'm not saying that I'm refusing to sign the ticket.
So she wouldn't sign the ticket at all. He keep trying to get her to put her hands behind her back.
I'm going to sign the ticket.
You don't have an option now.
Because but I'm going to sign the ticket, Mr. Blue.
Now, what happened is that what proper English? What happened was that she decided, as he found out she was really going to jail, to sign the ticket. But he wouldn't let her sign the ticket, which I think is wrong, because she said, well, she had to be convinced that you either sign the ticket or you go to jail. Well, when she found out she was finna really go to jail, she wanted to sign the ticket, and he wouldn't let her, which I thought was kind of wrong.
I'm going to sign the ticket. I'm going to sign the ticket.
No, I'm not here to play games with you.
I know, but I'm going to sign.
Put your hands behind your back.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to sign your hands behind your back.
You're actively resisting.
I'm asking you, why am I putting my hands behind my back?
You're under arrest.
I'm going to sign the ticket, but why am I under arrest? Why am I under arrest? You're not giving me a reason. So why am I getting? I'm not. You haven't told me my rights.
Now, you see, had she just went on and signed it to begin with, she wouldn't have had this problem. But she did decide to sign the ticket. I think the officer was being a butthole in that situation right here, because all he had to do was let her sign the ticket and everybody be gone.
So told me why I'm being arrested. That's exactly why I'm not.
Now that's the kind of thing to make a brother want to jump on the police on that one right there. So I think, and her husband showed a lot of restraint. Okay, because he'd have been in jail too.
Unnecessary.
I mean, it recording from over here.
So she could have signed the ticket. I mean, she could have signed the ticket, and it'd have been over. But she thought that, and I don't blame her. She's not from Atlanta. That's just a little bit of that. We was trying to get the other day. That's just a little bit of that. I just think that the police officer was a butthole. Okay, he was a butthole, and he could have just let her sign the ticket after all that was said and done, and let her go. This is in Atlanta, so just in case you happen to go to Atlanta one of these days, and you can't be in the park after 6 o'clock, right? 6 o'clock, you can't do it. Okay, so I'm just saying, don't do it. Okay, but again, they're not from there. They're not from Atlanta, so they wouldn't know. Okay. And before whenever it happened, though, it happened. Okay. So anyway, it ain't hate black women time, but she just should have just signed the ticket and she ain't never come back to Atlanta no way. And if she is, don't be driving. But anyway, I thought the police officer was a butthole. I thought he was. He could have just let her sign the ticket. When she finally figured out she was going to jail, I need to sign that ticket. Oh yeah. Anyway. Wait a minute now. It's done again. It's done again. Yeah, Don.
You can watch YouTube videos all day long where black women seem to want to adjudicate something in their car. All you got to do, one, it's probably posted that you're not supposed to be in there. So let him write the tickets, and then you go before the judge, and you probably get it thrown out. But no, she's going to adjudicate it. She's going to say, I ain't going to sign it, whichever one of them will tell you right up. You're just acknowledging the ticket. You're not accepting it as being guilty. But she's going to fight that too. And then when the outcome turns out bad and she's done already went past a point that she's getting cuffed, she wants to do something different. But you can watch these videos all day long where black women want to adjudicate the damn thing at the car, and then half of them want to call their family out there to start a fight too. But it's all day long. Just give them. Once you got done something wrong, he's got to write fast your ID, show him your ID, get your ticket, and go on and go to court and say it. But no, we got to fight it every time. Watch it all day long.
Okay, then. Well, again, I listen. I don't agree with you on too many things, but I do believe she should have just signed the ticket. She probably thought that, listen, I ain't doing it. Sitting in the park. I mean, they from South Carolina, somewhere, wherever they were from. But anyway, you cannot have that fight on the side of the road, because something bad's gonna happen. It's not gonna work out well if you're gonna have the fight on the side of the road when it comes to policing. You're not gonna win. Okay? Even if they're wrong, they right at that particular time. You take it to court. Play a Karen. Well, oh yeah, they got some Karen videos out there too. Yeah. See, Don leaves tissue in his. Come on, man. Anyway, I just thought it was, but that's the one I was telling you about. Yeah, she was she's a little hyper. Okay. Montgomery Regional Airport resumes regular business today. They were the victim of a bomb threat the other day, so hopefully they didn't find any bombs. So that is good. So you don't have any reason to fear going on to our airports right now. And don't forget, it's going to be cold outside today. Cold. Okay, so whatever you do, just stay warm. Right now in the city of Montgomery, it's 25 degrees. High today of 45 degrees. No precipitation is expected for the rest of the day, but you never know. The winds right now are not really blowing. I also would feel like it's a lot colder, okay? So high today, 45 right now in the city of Montgomery. It is 25 degrees, okay? So it's chilly. So put a hat on. Okay, put a hat on, put a shirt on, put a coat on, whatever you got to put on. Listen, handle your business, okay? Anyway, let me go. It has been a great day today, and Mr. Fortner, wish him the best of luck on his case, or if the case gets adjudicated another kind of way. But he's an interesting man. Did he get screwed, glued, and tattooed? I don't know. I wasn't there, but I just wanted to give him an opportunity to get it out there, okay? So have a good day. Have a good night, or whatever you do. And we're going to redo the show somewhere around 3 o'clock this morning today. So we'll do that. Y'all got to go. I got to go. I got to have me some grits. Okay, got to make me some grits. Okay, so have a good day. All right?
We change the world in history right here where we're from. It's new beginning to you and me, 'cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city.
Okay. Just remember, it is not the. Well, I'll tell you that tomorrow. Have a good day.
Raised high in pure delight, thankful whispers in a gentle.
It is not the falling down that gives us the strength, but it is getting up every time we do.
With such sweet